Hey family, I'm Natalie Nelson Parker here. I wish I could be with you in Phoenix. Unfortunately, while you're watching this, I am presenting in the Chicagoland area for our young adult event that brings together all of our ethnic young adults from across the country. So I want to share with you a few principles that we've used to increase the number of young adults who are engaged within the United Methodist Church and with our programming. How we've tripled the number of young adults under the age of 40 who are answering their call to ordain ministry. And 3, how we create exciting events that young adults actually want to come to. So the framework that we have used to have this success in just 3 years is called Leading, Innovating, and Transforming, the LIT framework, L-I-T. And all of that can be found in my new book, Transformation Starts With Me, Bold Strategies for Innovative Leadership. And I wrote the book because a lot of people wanted to know, how did you raise funds? How did you create this leadership program? How were you able to start from scratch and engage young adults across the country, particularly young adults of color associated with historically Black colleges and universities? And so the secret is here in my book, and I'm going to share a few of those frameworks with you today. Now I'm going to give you 10 minutes, so please take out your pen, your paper, and make sure that you can get as much information as possible as we share. So as I share my screen with you, let's get ready to start. Okay, and so our mantra is stay lit, as you can see on my t-shirt, and it comes from Matthew 5:14. And we believe that Jesus was accurate, that you are the light of the world, which means anyone has the potential to lead, anyone has the potential to shine their light and make a difference in the world. And so when I use the word leading, innovating, and transforming, I want you to kind of think about what those goals are. So when we say leading, we understand that that is an individual basis, that everyone is called to lead in a way that is authentic to their value system and that's driven by their own unique experiences. When we talk about innovating, that means where our goal is to provide bold strategies and solutions in fresh new ways. And when we talk about transforming, we're talking about radical change, either personally or with a community, to make a greater impact. So again, leading, innovating, and transforming. You want to associate all of those goals with those 3 things. And so when we talk about the National Network of Young Adults, which is our initiative, what we're doing is providing a solution. So when you talk about collegiate ministry and young adult ministry and worship, I want you to think about, what is the solution that you are providing? Are you just doing it because you want more butts in the seat? Or are you providing an opportunity and a space for young adults? And if so, what does that look like? So for us, we understood that by 2032, the United Methodist Church will face a shortage of ordained elders to serve local churches. That trend, as I said before, is even worse when you talk about congregations or communities of color. And so we understood that there was an opportunity there, because unlike other millennials, Black millennials are more religious than their counterparts. And so we understood that there was a missing piece, there was a missing link. There weren't any relevant spaces where African American young adults could come together that was culturally responsive and that was reflective of their traditions. And so we were able to create for our church a solution surrounding the leadership gap for young adults. And because we were offering something that was focused on leadership development, that was innovative in nature, it was bold, it was fresh, it was new, and that it created a space for young adults to have a transformational experience within 3 years. And with every year that we increase, we see our numbers doubling and tripling. And so here's just a few pictures of our event, the Leading in Transformation Conference, which is our largest gathering, as well as a snapshot of just one of the grants we received this year because of the work that we've been doing. Now again, leading. Ralph Ellison says, when I discover who I am, I'll be free. Now, as you're sitting in this particular training, I want you to really take some self-inventory. What are your intentions with working with young adults? What are the beliefs and the values and the thoughts that you bring to this audience? What type of leader are you? All of those things are important. How can we talk about providing a space for others if we're not even sure who we are and what we're bringing to the table? And so it's very important to be clear, because you want to create a value system that is driven by you as a leader. If you are the person that is either going to be leading this initiative, appointing the person who's going to be leading the initiative, or walking alongside whoever will be servicing that young adult audience. Now, if those are questions that you just don't have the answer to right now, maybe you need to do a little bit more research. Well, there are tests out there to help you to understand who you are as a leader. One of them, which is the Transformational Leader Survey, is in my book in pages 21 through 26. And that will help you understand your type of leadership style that you are, as well as how you relate to others. So you want to start with the place of what are my values? What am I bringing to the table? Now, I wanted you to see that although I am the program coordinator, we have a young adult design team that is made of young adults across the country who are diverse and who are different. And each one of them brings something to the table, and each one of them has a specific interest. And I wanted you to see that when we talk about leadership, that should be whether it's your team, whether it's you, that you are looking for creating a system that represents all the leadership types and the diversity of the audience that you're going to represent. The next step, innovating. Steve Jobs says innovation distinguishes a leader from a follower. Now, when you're talking about young adults, it is very important to understand that innovation is a necessary process. You want to be able to present, whether it's your worship experience, whether it's your programming, whether it's your events, in a new and fresh way that is reflective of young adults. Now, you might be saying, what does that mean, Nathalie? How can I do that? Number one, you want to calculate risk. You have to understand the kind of culture that you are in and the kind of culture that you are trying to create. So that means there's going to be some risk involved of doing things new, different, and bold, right? We hear it all the time. We've always done it this way. Well, what have those results brought you? Okay, so it's time to innovate and do something new. So number one, you want to calculate the risk. Number two, I want you to know that in order to innovate, you have to get out your head and onto the playing field. It's a process of figuring things out and discovering what works. And I want to show you the framework that we use. We've made some mistakes, but we've had some great successes. And this has really helped us. It's on page 68 and 69 of my book. And you can see here a little bit of how we do it. The center of everything we do is our goals, our mission, our values, and then we talk about the framework of how do we try things out? How do we evaluate whether they're effective or not? And that's the process of innovating, constantly designing, evaluating, and redesigning. Okay? You want to be clear about what you're designing. Why are we doing this? What are our goals? Who's doing it? And all of those things are important, because in order to provide bold strategies and solutions in a fresh new way, you have to evaluate. Is it fresh enough? Is it innovative enough? Is it bold enough? So we want to make sure that we're clear on who we are as leaders. We want to be sure that we're innovating, that we're constantly looking at what we do and making it better and more relevant for the audience that we're trying to receive. And then here is an example of what that framework looks like. Of course, in the center, your vision, your goals, your values, your methods, the people that's going to do it. And then how do you as a leader put together your teams? How do you develop? How do you design? How do you execute? And then do that process again to see if it, during evaluation, is effective. Now, the last piece is transforming. Transformation is not a future event. It is a present activity. So right now we need to define our culture, evaluate our readiness. Are we ready to transform? If you are close to death, then baby, the time is now, not later. It is time for resurrection now. Okay, and then during that process, discovering, exploring, and designing. We have to get to the point where we are able to say we are ready for transformation, that we embrace radical change. Now, there may be some people out there that may say, what does that really mean? How do I know if I'm ready for transformation? How do I know if my congregation needs to change? How do I know if I need to change? What does that look like? Well, that is also a resource that's available in my book. And I would say that if you are feeling discomfort, if you're feeling stagnant, if the ministry is not growing at a rapid rate, if there's a lack of energy and excitement, and there's a lack of young adults, then those are all indicators that it is time for transformation. And so I want you to understand that that is not a later situation, that there must be a sense of urgency. The Brookings Institution says that about 75% of the workforce right now, and going into 2025, which is not far away, will account for millennials. That means they're the largest population in the workforce. So if they are out in the world and they are not engaging in our churches, then we have to understand that the urgency of the time is upon us at this moment. And so transformation, what must happen? The thing about an urgency mindset is that it produces accelerated results. That is how we were able in just 3 years to triple the number of young adults of color who are entering and going through the ordination process in the United Methodist Church. We have to say, what are our next steps? I'm not going to wait for tomorrow. I'm not going to wait for next week. I'm not going to wait for next month. What can I do now? And so as you receive this information, as well as the lengthier information that you'll receive from Reverend Parker, I want you to ask yourself right now, what am I going to do next? What are my next steps for this premium content, all of this rich information that I've given? Am I going to put my book back on the shelf and leave it alone? Or am I going to actually take some next faithful steps? Now, here's some options for you that we can encourage you to take advantage. There are some free resources. Number one, you can go to the National Network of Young Adults.com and go to the resource tab. We have a small group guide that we use. You can access that. You can set up a free consultation with Reverend Parker and I. We would love to hear about your ministry context, possibly give you some consultation of ways that you can lead, innovate, and transform in your particular context. Maybe you want to see firsthand, what does this exciting event look like? What does it look like to be surrounded by 500 young adults from across the country? Then you can go ahead and go to that same website, nationalnetworkofyoungadults.com, and you can click the link for the LIT Conference tab, and you can join us at the Leading in Transformation Conference, where you can see firsthand how we are training, engaging, and supporting young adult leaders across the country. The last opportunity that we have that is not open yet but will be open soon is sign up for our online course that will take place in October of 2019. It's going to be a training similar to the one that I'm giving now. There'll be 5 weeks. It will be online, and we'll be answering the question how to engage college students, how to raise funds for programming, and how to create exciting events that college students actually want to go to. If this is something that you might be interested, I'm going to ask you today to email us at info@parkerministries.com. Send us an email. We'll put you a part of the list and give you the information about what this online course is going to look like. Well, friends, I'm a little over my 10 minutes, but I thank you so much for the opportunity to share this great information and this framework with you. I hope truly you go forward and lead and innovate and transform wherever God is calling you to serve. This is how we say it in our network. No matter who you are, no matter where you are in life's journey, stay lit. I appreciate you. Have a good one. And always, my friends, stay lit.